Okay. So I don't want to make it brief, but I guess brief is what I should do. So I was on the brink of death when I was about 6 weeks old. They had no idea what it was. And no idea what, no, like doctors back then, it was 19, so 6 weeks. So it was still 1977. They had no idea what the hell was wrong with me or what was wrong with me. It wasn't the hell. It's like, I don't know. It was like, that was the first time maybe for a later date. So I did uh, almost. So it was a near death experience at 6 weeks old. I had another near death. Um, that was 90, I think 92 or 93. So it was another near death. But the actual death that I had was 94. This Pink Floyd concert, RFK Stadium, Washington, D.C. And that was when I had really just found like weed, and I I was working. I had 3 jobs, so I had enough money to get really really good weed. And so I was all into Pink Floyd. Yeah, man, let's go listen to some Pink Floyd. Like, and there was something that happened at that Pink Floyd parking lot, which I had never encountered before. I didn't do any kind of other weird drugs, anything like that. Uh, Pot, weed, marijuana, ganja, and back then I got some good ganja. I had some guys from Baltimore. We had Cary Street uh, that we would go to and get some good stuff from the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans, man. And for some reason, I was cool enough to go around them. I don't know. I don't know whether I was just like a token white guy or whatever, but I wasn't white. I mean, I was pretty tan back then because I was outside all the time working. And but yeah, uh, Pink Floyd. So I'm there in the parking lot, and I heard this sound. Like, what is that? I'm seeing people walk around with these balloons. I'm like, what is that? Nitrous oxide. I'm like, what is nitrous oxide? I don't think this was the one where I actually took mescaline. I think mescaline was a different one. Um, yeah, let me. I think Juicy J. I'm only making this for Juicy J. Well, yeah. Well, I'm only making this one for you. So the balloons. It's like, you take a big huff, you hold it in. Hold on. All right, so Jesus, like, I'm coming. Should I start over? Oh, where's the link? Let me see the thing. Oh. Let's see. Go there. Hit the button. Copy link. Hit the thing. Do that thing. Hit that. We'll see if that goes through. Let me see if I should start over. Hey, all right, I'll start over. So, all right. Where was I? I think I might have started too far into it. So, we scroll back in time to when I was 6 weeks old. I had some sort of thing that the doctors had no idea what it was. No idea. And I was on the brink of death. My first near-death experience was 6 weeks old. Somehow, miraculous recovery. I became a strong, young to adolescent. And then fast forward to 92, 93, somewhere in that time frame, was another near-death experience. I think I had a couple others between that. Because it was reckless right around 91 to 94. I was reckless. I jumped off a cliff 50 feet up into the water. I saw someone do it first. They came up. They survived. It's like, well, yeah, my friend jumped off a bridge. They survived. It wasn't a bridge. It was like a rock cliff. But I did not know what to expect. You know, you jumped off the thing. When you jump that far, you go down a whole lot of way into the water. And if I had known then to exhale and inhale right before I hit the water, might have been a little bit different. But I completely exhaled right before I hit the water. And so I'm down there and I'm like coming up and I had no breath. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get some breath. So I finally get up to the surface. I'm like, woo! And I'm like, whoa, that was great. So the next my actual first death experience that was witnessed by a large group, AMT on the scene and everything. I'm doing nitrous oxide balloons at a Pink Floyd concert. Oh, just scroll back a little bit. So I've got great weed. I was in with some Jamaicans, and they had the best ganja. And so I had some great ganja to go to Pink Floyd, 94, RFK, DC, Washington DC, and I'm in the parking lot. This took a whole bunch of friends. We're in this 1984 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser station wagon, with the wood panels on the side and all that. And it's got these huge bumper on the back, those thick rubber things. So back then, if you bumped into a car, you're like, oh, and nothing would happen. You could get in an accident and there'd be no issue. But they were thick, chrome plated, thick, some sort of rubber, real thick rubber. And smoking, and then I fell backwards, hit my head on just the right spot, right there. I still feel it to this day. It's still there. And I was out. So I'm laying there, lifeless body, no breath, going pale. EMT, she was in the group that it went with me, and she's rookie EMT. Not rookie, but first or second year of actually being on the job. And nobody else was in their wits about them to be able to do CPR after she was done. And she was done. And she's sitting there exhausted. And she called it. So while I'm gone, past, I experienced the whole entire Pink Floyd concert. The whole thing. Start to finish. Going in, ball dropping, every single note, going up into the stadium, going down, standing room only. I saw the whole thing start to finish. And then walking out back. Actually, no, I didn't walk back. That's right. Because as I left, I was over the stadium, looking down. I was like, oh man, this is a great scene. All these people going around, it's a great vibe. And then as I'm like looking for the car. I'm like, where's the car? Where's the car? And it was right then where I saw the car. I saw me. I'm like, hey. Yeah. And it was like right then, boom, I woke up, I was like this. Whoa, that was awesome. I scared the shit out of everybody. The EMT, she dropped to her knees, turned white. I almost gave her a heart attack. She got so mad. She was so mad. I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes at least I was gone. She said later. Yeah. So yeah, that was midsummer '94. For some reason I thought '93, but '93 was the near death one where we spun a Toyota Camry stick shift going 120 miles an hour on back roads through falls. And wrapped it around a tree. So this year, I have no idea what happened. I was 1 minute, I'm sitting here eating pistachios. This was, it was New Year's Eve. I'm eating pistachios. I had a whole bag of them because I'm like just watching a movie. I don't even remember what I was watching. And for some reason, I just downed a whole bag of pistachios. And I woke up in the hospital. I don't know how I got there. They thought I was done. Apparently, they got me into the ambulance and somehow resuscitated me or something like that. No idea, but that's kind of the story they tell me. So for the next 2 months, somehow my body just went. I had no strength. I lost all my strength. I couldn't walk. It took me about a week in the hospital. So I was in the hospital for 8 days. So the first week I could not walk at all. And luckily enough, I think my couple sisters, they thought I was going to die. So they're like, oh, well, we'll spend our time with them. And when I saw them, I was like, hey, you're here. And it just made me feel better. And I just started feeling better. And then I saw my son come in, and he started telling me about what had happened, what the shape I was in when he found me. And he called 911 and got the rescue services there. And they revived me, I guess, somehow on the way enough to actually say, okay, well, he needs to go to a hospital and we're going to revive him and all this stuff. Still haven't found exactly why. The only thing they found so far is I've got a blockage in the main vein in my neck, the carotid artery, the main vein to my brain. But that time, I was just at peace. I was like, all right. I wasn't really willing to fight to get back. But my son fought to get me back. So he willed me back to life. That's all. That's the only rationale I can think of it. He willed me because after I couldn't walk, I couldn't lift anything. I had to be kind of like fed. I had intravenous stuff, all that stuff until I'm moving my muscles and all that. There's nothing I couldn't do anything. I know it's nasty, but when you die, something happens with your bowels and it comes out black. And that's what happened. That's why the nurse at the ER, she wasn't hopeful at all because it was all black. But I opened my eyes, and I honestly, I don't remember anything that happened that time. But from '94 on, I've had a lot of it's waking dreams sometimes. Um, it's like there's this movie Young Guns with Emilio Estevez. We're in a spirit world. You see the size of that chicken over there? Or they're on peyote, and I've done the mescaline. So after that, I was like, in the spirit world. So I'll float in and out, but I'm pretty grounded for the most part, and I know when I can float off and chill. But so this year, I have no idea what triggered it, but it's very akin to when I was 6 weeks old. You know, right around the same time. So what was I, 45 or 46? So 40, 45 years later, 6 weeks after I was born, 6 weeks after I turned 45. Does that sound right? 45 or 46, however old I am. 6 weeks after, poof. Who knows? I don't know. They still don't know. They've run all kinds of tests. They've kind of done injections, uh, taken all kinds of blood tests and everything. And I figured out there is, I do have an issue. I found out I was born with it, and it's very rare, uh, and it's usually only found post mortem. But because of all the tests they did, I self diagnosed, and I went to a few doctors, and they were like, "No, no, there's no way. There's nobody has that." So I finally found one doctor who was willing to do a very rare test, and it came up positive. Got 7 different autoimmune disorders, all working in harmony. Who knew? I mean, but now that I know, I'm able to deal with things. But uh, now that I do know, and I know my son, he fought for me. It was like his he willed me back to life. And I have no idea how he would have found me. No idea. I mean, I hear stories, but how did that happen? I don't know. And so it's by his will. So if he's got the will to keep me alive, I'm going to keep myself alive, right? So if he wants me there, I'm here. I'm good with that. But yeah, the second time I actually did get witnessed death, I didn't really see anything. The first time I got witnessed death, that was pretty awesome. Uh, I don't know what happened the second time, but because I was so in and out of the spirit world from '94 to yeah, it was like 90, so 30 years I've been in and out of the spirit world. I guess it just was irrelevant that the flesh wasn't working anymore. So I guess that's maybe why I don't remember. I just don't know. I didn't think of it the second time. Other times, the near deaths ones, um, yeah, there's a lot of memories with the near ones. Mostly it was trying to survive the death with the near death. It was, I want to survive. And I joke that I think I'm on 7 of my 9 lives, and partly why I'm cat. Got 9 lives. This uh, latest one I think was number 7, and so from being unable to walk, do a push up. I mean, I literally, to stand up was I had to work for it. So 10 months later, I got all these things working, diet, still can't sleep. Still really, it's hard to rest. It's like I'm in perpetual motion. So if I'm constantly moving, I'll be all right. Once I stop moving, I'm a slug. But once I get up, good to go. Once I stop, time to rest. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. So, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I don't want anything material. If you think about me and you want to send me a gift, a card, or something like that, handwritten note, a poem, a drawing, I'll describe the drawing and show it. Anything like that. That's where I'm at. I don't need anything material. When you die, you don't need anything material anymore, right? It's like, okay, well, you got to keep a roof, and so you got to go to work to get the roof, all that stuff in between. But after that, it's like you got to ride. So if I want something, I'll go get it. Right? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Shortest day of the year is winter solstice. Right? Yeah. It's only going to get brighter from here on out. If that was the shortest day of the year, it's only going to get brighter from here on out. And yes, it does make a difference that when you don't have the sunlight or you're indoors all the time, also, that does make a difference. Vitamin D comes from the sun, your skin, just the air, unless you're around like, like a truck stop all the time and inhaling diesel. But yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. That's where I'm going to leave it. Leave it at that. All right. Much love.